Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to That's a Brand New Day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Oh boy, oh boy. First off, I want to say, if you've been watching my videos of late, thank you so very much. I have been sort of on a negative streak of late, but that is only because I am so exhausted, number one, and number two, I just haven't had anybody to talk to. I don't have anyone in my life to talk to, so I talk to my camera. So today, we're going to be more positive, because there's no reason to be negative all the time. I have actually worked very hard to not be negative all the time. I used to be an exceptionally negative person. Oh my gosh. And I am nothing compared to what I used to be. I'm going to play with my hair now because I'm fixating on it. If you look at it sideways, if you can see, it's just all floofy right there. Ah, thumbs up for that. I do have some stuff written down over there, and I want to talk about that, and then again I'm going to come back to why and what and such. But one of the things I want to talk about, well, I'm going to also play a sound clip from a guy called Damian Lee. ADHD Squirrel Moments, that's the rest of my life. But a guy called Damian Lee, he does Reddit readings and other voice work. And he really made me laugh today, so I captured the clip with Bandicam, and hopefully I'm going to play it at some point during here, because it made me laugh out loud just because how stupid it was. So thumbs up for that. But let me try and remember what I was trying to talk about. Oh yes, one thing that I came up with just the other day. I get weird ideas that aren't really weird when you think about them. Like it was, hey, what if, like in a D&D/medieval fantasy setting, you've got a gay dwarf, a gay male dwarf, who's got an elf kink. And then it was like, that sounds interesting. And so I posted that as like, hey, what about the gay male dwarf? It's like, you know, it's a subversion of expectations, and what could you do with something like that? And then I started thinking about it. I grew up with, without knowing, in person, a writer who does, it's books, and I don't know how she publishes them, if it's only through Amazon or a publisher and such, but way back when I was a teenager and I was going into high school, I had done this Amateur Press Association thing where people across the United States, and in some cases other parts of the world, you would type up a zine, short for magazine of course, you know, zines, little print things, print up a number of them if there were members, send it to a central mailer who would put it all into a book, send it out to the members, and everyone would read them. This particular person I have been friends with since forever, and I was talking with her about just this, that, and the other, and then I mentioned this character, and then I tried to write up something that sounded at first goofy about the character, and then it started being not goofy, and then I started to really feel for the character, and it's now turning into a real thing. Because it was like the guy is trying to tell this other male dwarf that it's not his fault, the other dwarf, it's not his fault that, you know, he can't get busy. You know, ever since he saw the pointy-eared pretty boy downstairs, he's just not going to be able to do it with a dwarven hammer until he gets that pointy-eared pretty boy into that bed with his elven tack hammer. And he's sad about it and trying to console the other dwarf. And I was writing that just going, oh my god, this is funny, but it's not funny. So now that's turned into a character and a setting, and I'm not quite sure what to do with it. Which, talking about settings, I'd also been thinking, you know, I had mentioned You could have as a cosmic horror event that would affect the world, and I'm trying to actually come up with a setting for that within my multiverse thing, where the event takes place outside, far outside of the local cluster of galaxies from where we are. It took microseconds, so far away we wouldn't even be able to pinpoint it, and the effect was so far away that only 1/3 of our galaxy was affected. We just happened to be in that 1/3 when it hit. So I was just throwing that out as an example. I'm remembering, as a quick rundown on power hierarchies, there is Dread Amaterasu at the top, mother of all. She is the most powerful, the Gakira. Below her are her children, the Angakira. Below them in power is something known as an Ang. It is a being of great power that when the cosmic horrors need something done in individual universes where they can't do something, they send the Ang, who burrows into the side of reality there, lays its eggs, and then the Angoka are born. And the Angoka are like Cthulhu level monsters. Incredibly powerful, their own beings, but still following the aspects and desires and wishes of their cosmic horror that sent them there. And so they have things they have to do, and they have their own, again, their own personalities, needs, wants, desires, and all that. But once they get done what is done, they've got no real purpose left. So, because they're sent there as a fire and forget, and they're not going to do anything to try and ruin the plans of the cosmic horror that sent them there, they just live out the rest of their lives in that universe. I would imagine that the thing that... I have all sorts of... no tissues around here. All sorts of sticky saliva that's going to be popping up between my teeth, so my apologies. What if one of the Angoka did something out beyond our local cluster that was sent there by the Ang from one of the Angakira to do something, and boom, vwap, we get caught. Nothing we could have done. Nothing we can even explain. Nobody saw that happen. It took microseconds. Oh, done. There was nothing to even observe. But all of a sudden, things start to change. And I figure anywhere between 150 to 300 years, there ain't no more people left on the planet. Not because anything evil happens, not because anything specifically destroys us, but because the world is changing. Invasive species, anything that rapidly happens or is introduced from the wild into the wild as a wild thing is going in as an invasive species. And we know what happens on our planet now with invasive species. It gets introduced, there are no natural predators to fight them, they take over. There are islands where we've accidentally introduced snakes. They are snake islands, nothing but snakes there anymore. There are places we've introduced rabbits. Rabbits have gone wild. We are fighting invasive plant species now that we can't stop. And we're fighting desperately to do so and losing. Invasive species are awful. So what happens when an invasive species comes in and say maybe it starts taking over all the places that we grow corn? It's not being evil or, deliberately trying to destroy us. It's just resource competition. And there's no way to stop it from outcompeting us there, because nothing on our planet evolved with this sort of thing. there's no way to fight it. I mean, you can, guns, fire, but when it's an entire species, so that would be rough. And I do want to write stories in my head, most likely, because I'll never get them written down, most likely, because of ADHD, my friend. But it would be nice to have a cohesive timeline where it's from event and then what happens when the people are gone. Because I figured there'd be like, I mentioned this before, and I made it confusing, because there's stage 1 is what we're in right now, so forget that. And stage 5 is like after everything has happened, but that's after, so there's stage 1, 2, and 3. 1 is when it starts to about 75 years, 7,500 years. Stage 2 is, you know, the next 75 or so years, and then stage 3 is the last part, and then when it ends, there ain't no more people. We're just outcompeted by the things that happen. And thank you for listening. This was a spontaneous thing there. I'm feeling better. It hurts, but it's not sparkling. And I've already taken a shower. And so I'm waving around, and I think I'm okay. Let me check my list over there.
I'm a dress with a window over my balls. Justin. That's epic, dude.
Oh, yes. I have been feeling my exhaustion today. It is 1:44. I am so tired. I have just been fighting, wanting to lie down, have my flesh melt off my bones, mold, rot, and then just, I gotta get some rest. Let the moss cover my bones in the forest. So, I've been feeling that today, which is why I am so slow getting this done. And when I listen to my videos when I'm done, I am horrified because I sound like I just talk like I'm drugged. To me, I sound like this. Well, what I want everyone to do is to think about this. When to me, of course, when I'm saying it, I sound to me in my head like I'm talking quick, but yay. So, I've talked about the dwarf with his elven kink for their tack hammers, and then there's feeling positive, the need to be positive. Oh yes, coming back to that, because ever since my wife died, I have had no one to talk to. Before I got married, even though I wasn't an active alcoholic, I talked with people online. I don't remember much of those times because I was an active alcoholic, but I talked with people online so I could get things out if something bothered me. You know, maybe indirectly, maybe they didn't care, but at least I could get it out. And then I got married, and I could talk to my parents, my wife. Then she died. And it got more difficult, but at least I could talk to my mother and give her a call. And then she died. And I really have had no one to talk to. So, ever since I've been starting to vlog on the channel, I'm talking to the camera. You need to talk to someone. You have to vent things. You have to get it out, or you're bottling it up. And you bottle things up, you're gonna have a heart attack or a stroke. It's not good for you. You need to get things out. So I get things out by talking to the camera. And sometimes the things are just so much that I have to vent that there's no room at that time for anything else. I don't mean to be negative. I don't mean to just do that. But sometimes, if I don't get it out of here, it's gonna stay. So I gotta bring it out. And sometimes that's all I can do is talk about the stuff that's built up. So again, thank you so much. If you have been watching my videos, throughout all this. Where is a tissue? Oh my God, I have no ideas where there is a tissue, but blah. Build up a saliva against my denture plate. Blah. So, anyway though, now that I'm fixating on that too, thank you so much for watching, and that's why I'm going to have the occasional time when I do that, but I try not to. I have been trying for a long time to not be a negative person, so if I'm just venting something, I'm just trying to get it out of here so it doesn't build up, not trying to be a negative Nancy. I have all of these things, and they all are misogynistic when you think about them. I have said Debbie Downer, negative Nancy. It is very dark in my room right now, and there is a reason for this. I mean, it's very dark, it's very dim, my camera's barely picking it up, it's barely going to show up on YouTube, but I wanted the colorful lights to show that this is what it's like in my room when I got the major light off, and you may have noticed there's light from over here. Well, that's because I got a thing that puts light up on there, and it cycles through. Right now it's sort of blue, as you can tell, and we're going into more red, and then it's going to cycle into a green. So that's pretty cool. It's over here, so I got to be careful not to get too close or I stare into it. But I just wanted to show people that even though it gets dark in here, it doesn't really get dark in here. And that's a good thing. Huh. Anyway, though, checking my list, the last thing I really want to talk about on the creative frontier there, creative front, is on my cryptid things again. Once again, I love my cryptids. I think they're just absolutely wonderful and awesome, while at the same time, because I too am in the victim pool, it's also a kill them with fire sort of thing, because I wouldn't want to be eaten alive by an uncaring beast. And I say beast because they themselves, before I even talk about this part, they make a marked distinction. There's the cryptids, and then there's people. And while they don't see us as equal, in many ways it's like there's that step of a little bit above to be a person. When they talk about each other, it's like that's a beautiful creature, a wonderful beast, and things like that. When they talk about people, even if they're going to go eat someone, it's sorry about that. I was eating some rice earlier, and this is either a bit of thyme or a bit of rosemary caught between my teeth there. My apologies. Oh, I can't remember what I was talking about now. I know it had to do with the cryptids and all that. So ADHD, I am having to get used to the idea that I'm never going to be able to think again. I got that written down, so I'm going to do this. I want to talk about this even after I said negative Nancy, and then talk about why the story that I feel like with that, with my ADHD. When I took Ritalin, any stimulant strong like that is the only thing that really works with the type of ADHD, at least I have. Stimulant stuff does the trick. But the first stimulant, Ritalin, I took raised my blood pressure so high it would have killed me if I kept taking it. So I had to stop, and I replaced it with caffeine. But Ritalin was like living in that golden city, and then not being able to take it and replacing it with caffeine was like going down to live in a tin hovel and looking up at that golden city where I used to live, knowing that golden city can kill me. But if I keep taking caffeine tablets anymore, it's gonna keep raising my blood pressure, and it's gonna kill me. Now, I feel like I'm in a landfill looking up at the tin hovel in jealousy, knowing that if I go up to the tin hovel, I will die. And I can no longer even see the Golden City anymore, nor even can I remember what it felt like to live there. The only thing I can tell you is I used to be able to think. I used to. And if I do again, I'll die. So with the cryptids, one of the things about them, I've mentioned before, there are light cryptids, there are dark cryptids, and those with their third eye open are actually shadow cryptids, gray cryptids. Nobody knows that they're actually failed cryptids with a genetic disorder that keeps them from becoming full expressed cryptids, so they have extra universal stuff, but a normal matter body, so they can't consciously access all this stuff. They can interact with and deal with the cryptid world, and they lose their ability to interact meaningfully with the normal matter world, but they're not actually cryptids. So you're right in the middle. But light cryptids and dark cryptids, you know, when people on TV going on to haunted places, they talk about, oh, it feels really creepy here. In the context of my setting, dark cryptids exude a creepy feeling about them, which being an extra universal genetic thing, genetics are different. Some dark cryptids, like Jimmy, he doesn't really have any appreciable creepy feelings. So when he goes out and he works his human job or goes out with his human friends, they get no feelings of creepiness. There are some that are so exude so much they give off the power of 10, and you don't even want to go into a place because, ooh, that place just feels bad. But you notice that. You don't really notice the light cryptid stuff, because do you really notice when you feel good about something? If you're already just walking along and doing something, like reading a book or talking on your phone, you're talking on your phone with a friend, or texting someone, or watching a video, whatever, paying attention to your phone. And are you really going to notice that, hey, you're feeling just a little bit happier? Probably not. And if you do, what are you going to go, hey, some horrible thing made me feel momentarily better? Or are you just going to go, wow, I like this place, it feels good? But again, genetics. Some like cryptids give off a really good feeling. Some like cryptids don't. I imagine Polly, whom I've talked about a lot, it gives off a pretty good feeling because she has her human friends as well. Now, I've mentioned before, Polly is 5'4", and she's about 110 pounds, soaking wet. She's got a figure appropriate for someone her age. She's, mid-20s. And her weight and size, and like all cryptids, she is toned and fit without even having to try for it. So she doesn't, she's got a nice muscular type thing, but still she's just a person when you look at her. But of course, this 5'4" person, if she's hungry, can easily and comfortably devour an entire 250-pound human being, and then make sure she's eaten all the bits and pieces, and then even get down on her hands and knees and lick up all the spilled liquids and fluids that spilled out while she was having her meal. Because after all, they too have to bite, rip, chew, and swallow while they're eating. So, yay on that. But when she's out with her human friends, she is a natural blonde, both ends. But what she does is to keep her hair dyed, because she really likes to play the punk / emo / goth thing. It's not all mixed together. She does each one separately, but she has clothing and makeup, but she keeps her hair dyed black, And she wears, boots, fishnet stockings, mini skirt, midriff shirt, stuff like that. And she's got some jewelry that she wears with all this. And then she goes out with her friends. Now, none of her friends really remember where she came in, but she's been with them for years. They don't even think about it. It's an amorphous group of friends of, like 10 or 15 women that a smaller group of them will just go out for drinks or a movie or go out to dinner. And, they'll get 6 or 7 of them together. But since it's just a group of friends, it's not always the same group. And so sometimes Polly's there, sometimes she's not. And of course, as a light cryptid with a human-like cryptid, she has unconscious access to the unconscious internet of the cryptids, where everything they know is available on a subconscious level to all the other cryptids. Polly doesn't watch TV or watch movies except when she's out with her friends. She can still talk about the latest release that came out because one of her cryptid siblings out there saw it. She's not purposefully doing it. It's just that someone will ask her about this and she'll go, "Oh yeah," and start to talk about it. Helps you blend in. Extra universal stuff. She would never eat her friends, just as Jimmy would never eat any one of his friends, as much as they have Polly says, human beings are to top off your stomach, not to just eat when you're hungry, but to keep your belly full. Just to always keep your belly full, fill it with a human being. At the same time, she would likely kill to keep her human friends alive. Cryptids are, like people, contradictory and weird. Is there anything else on my list? Nope. So, I am going to just take it moderately easy. I've got a package of card sleeves to pick up at the pharmacy, so I'm going there to get that at some point. It's raining and wet and awful outside. Thumbs up for that. But past that, I'm just going to take it easy. I'm going to listen to music. I've been listening to music. I'm going to play games. I'm going to try and record some of the solo stuff, see if I can get that done. I got editing to do, so we shall see. And I'm so tired, I might just nap if I can do that. So we shall see. Hopefully, you can get done the things that you would like to get done. That would be cool. For each one of my Patreon patrons, I am so sorry that I have so much sticky saliva going around. It's driving me nuts. I can't believe I did that. Now my shirt's wet. For all of my Patreon patrons, thumbs up, thank you so much. I am doing the best I can, and I'm hoping that each and every one of you are doing the best that you can too. If you look in the mirror, you are looking at someone who is beautiful and awesome. As soon as I can get the surgery to get this fixed, if it gets fixed after surgery, then I'll hopefully be able to get names up here again. So that'll be good. Thumbs up for that. For everybody who leaves me comments, I appreciate each and every one of them. If you've watched this far, write sparkly lights, and that'll let me know that you did. If you have left me a comment though, thumbs up and thank you. It is appreciated, even though I can't answer as many as I would like. And it's starting to get sparkly, so I'm not waving that arm around. Anyway though, this is stretched out to almost a half hour. Yay for not being able to shut my yap. So, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very, very good thing. Oh. Ay, ay, ay. I am no negative Nancy. What would be the equivalent? I am no... We'll have to think about that, won't we?